In Forrest Fenn's Ramblings and Rumblings 1, the theme of death, including suicide and violence involving guns, appears throughout the memoir, often associated with significant life events or relationships. Suicide. The memoir mentions several instances of suicide, often linked to despair, illness, or the consequences of war. Forrest Fenn's father considered suicide, taking sleeping pills because he was ill with cancer and did not want to be a burden. Fred Harmon, who drew the cartoon strip Red Ryder and Little Beaver, shot himself after getting cancer. Pete Hansen, Donnie Joe's stepfather, shot himself with a rifle he had made from scratch due to depression from a thyroid disorder and lack of medication. Death from disease. Cancer is a recurring cause of death in the memoir. Forrest Fenn's mother died of a heart attack. Forrest Fenn's father died of pancreatic cancer. Zeke Williman, a cousin by marriage, died of cancer. Irene Vance, Forrest's brother's ex-wife, and her daughter Lana both died of cancer. Accidental or violent death. The memoir recounts several instances of unexpected or violent death. Forrest Fenn's brother, Skippy, died in a scuba diving accident. Concy Wood, Forrest football coach and friend, died in a head-on car collision that was likely his fault due to Parkinson's disease. Millard Peters, a childhood friend, died of a brain ailment. Donnie Joe Heath died after being run over by a bicycle. A crew chief was killed when a panel blew off a plane during a cyclone in Vietnam. A general, whom Forrest flew for, broke his back in a helicopter accident. Guns and violence. Guns are frequently mentioned, sometimes in the context of war or hunting. Forrest had a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun as a child. He shot meadowlarks and other birds for food. He and Concy would hunt squirrels together. Forrest mentions shooting at and being shot at during his time in the Vietnam War. The memoir mentions the collection of rubber and metal for the war effort, including guns. There is also a mention of bullet holes in an old painting that was considered to make the artwork more valuable. Symbolism. These recurring themes underscore the memoir's exploration of mortality, loss, and the lasting impact of these experiences. The presence of guns, often associated with both hunting and war, reflects a complex view of violence and survival. The motif of bullets also surfaces as both a literal threat and a symbolic marker, highlighting the sometimes random nature of death and loss. Suicide, whether attempted or completed, serves as a stark reminder of the depths of despair and the fragility of life. The deaths from disease emphasize the inevitability of loss and are in stark contrast with the accidental deaths and suicides which are more violent in nature. In summary, the prevalence of death, suicide, and gun violence in the memoir serves not only to document the author's life, but also to highlight the pervasive presence of loss and the unpredictable nature of life. In Forrest Fenn's Ramblings and Rumblings, a journey through death and reflection in the labyrinth of life, few themes stand as universally poignant as death, a subject Forrest Fenn probes with thoughtful introspection in his memoir, Ramblings and Rumblings. While delightful tales of adventure and treasure hunting are interlaced throughout his narrative, the specter of mortality looms large, bringing with it the somber notions of suicide, disease, and unexpected violence. Through this intricate tapestry of experiences, Fenn articulates a complex relationship with death that reflects both personal loss and the often harrowing realities of the human condition. The dark shadow of suicide is a recurring motif in Fenn's memoir, woven intricately into the fabric of his family history and friendships. Each instance shines a light on despair, illness, and the societal pressures that can drive individuals past their breaking points. Fenn opens the door to this somber reality with a heartbreaking tale of his father, a man besieged by cancer and the weight of his own mortality. In a moment of profound hopelessness, he contemplated suicide, seeking solace in sleeping pills rather than becoming a burden to those he loved. This moment encapsulates the raw edge of despair that the terminally ill often grapple with, real and relatable. Then there is the tragic demise of Fred Harmon, the whimsical genius behind the beloved Red Ryder and Little Beaver. Diagnosed with cancer, Harmon chose to end his own life, a choice that echoes across the pages of Fenn's memoir, illustrating the silent struggles that many face when confronted with illness. Pete Hansen's story, his suicide after constructing a custom-made rifle, adds yet another layer of complexity. Here we see not just an individual succumb to depression linked to a thyroid disorder, but also the tragic intersection of creativity and crisis, where the very thing a craftsman creates becomes a tool of his demise. The harrowing touch of disease cancer, an insidious thief, takes center stage as a recurring character along Fenn's journey through loss. The narrative recounts the tragic passing of Fenn's mother from a heart attack, a stark reminder that even those spared from cancer can fall victim to the unpredictability of life. His father's battle with pancreatic cancer further embodies the cruel hand of fate that so many families must face. Fenn's reflections lead us through the devastating losses of loved ones. Zeke Williman, his cousin by marriage, Irene Vance and her daughter, Lana, both fell by cancer, each narrative thread weaving a more intricate picture of grief. These stories act as pivotal junctures in the memoir, reflecting how sickness can disrupt families and lives, leaving behind a trail of sorrow and unanswered questions. They remind us that illness is not merely a clinical diagnosis. It bears the weight of human experience, relationships, and the complex emotions tied to love and loss. Accidental and violent death, as Fenn delves further into his memoir, the unexpected, often violent, nature of death emerges in chilling clarity. Accidents, not by design but by sheer happenstance, claim lives in ways that can seem almost cruelly arbitrary. The loss of his brother, Skippy, in a scuba diving accident adds a layer of poignant irony to Fenn's exploration of life and death. The oceans that once promised adventure become a tapestry woven with regret and sorrow, altering the course of family history. The memoir also highlights the tragic story of Concy Wood, a beloved football coach whose life was cut short in a head-on collision that was likely exacerbated by Parkinson's disease. Fenn's recounting of these accidents serves as a sobering reminder of how life can change in an instant, often leaving behind shattered dreams and unfulfilled potential. Death does not only arrive cloaked in accident. There are echoes of violence woven into the fabric of Fenn's recollected stories. A crew chief's untimely demise during a cyclone in Vietnam, a helicopter crash that leaves a general broken, all conjure images of chaos and unpredictability. Here, Fenn adeptly illustrates that death comes in many shapes, sometimes stealthy and silent, other times loud and jarring. The gun's relentless echo what adds further complexity to the theme of death within Fenn's memoir is the recurring presence of guns. Their depiction oscillates between the mundane and the significant, recalling his days as a child with a Daisy Red Ryder BB gun, a symbol of innocence, and a precursor to the experiences of hunting wildlife and participating in military service. The poetry in the juxtaposition of guns as both tools for survival and instruments of death is apparent throughout Fenn's reflections. This complex interplay surfaces in various stories, From shooting meadowlarks and squirrels for food to the profoundly shocking experiences of being part of the Vietnam War, where gunfire was a constant companion. The memoir beckons readers to reconsider guns, not merely as symbols of violence, but as reminders of the fragility of life, the fight for survival, and the shared human experience amidst chaos. Symbolism and mortality as one traverses the pages of Fenn's memoir. The recurring themes of death, violence, and the presence of guns coalesce into a rich tapestry of mortality and existential contemplation. Fenn employs these narratives to explore the indelible impact that death has on the living. Each story layered with significance adds depth to our understanding of how love, loss, and regret shape human experiences. Ultimately, the memoir serves as a poignant meditation on life's fragility, urging readers to reflect on their mortality and the trails left behind by those who have passed. In this way, Forrest Fenn's Ramblings and Rumblings becomes not merely a recounting of adventures, but a thoughtful journey through the complexities of existence, where death dances hand in hand with life, revealing the ultimate truth. To live is to confront the inevitability of loss, weaving us all into a shared human narrative that resonates through time.